Good morning, book friends. This is Kat. Welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be my read around the world vlog. If you have not seen my February TBR video, I pulled 2 countries from my jar, and those are the 2 countries that we're going to explore in this vlog. I really liked how I did that because I had time to look at the countries and some of the activities I want to do and the books that I do want to read. So I initially pulled out Malaysia first, but I am going to start off this vlog with the Gambia. With the Gambia, because I am able to get that book first through audio, and I'm kind of waiting on the second book. So anyways, Gambia or the Gambia. Let's go ahead and start off with some facts, but it is located in Western Africa. So my region rule came into play where I get to read any books set in West Africa or is written by a West African author. So some facts though about West Africa is in Gambia, it is the smallest country in mainland Africa. So it's measuring less than 30 miles wide at its widest, which that is a pretty narrow country. But according to online, it is densely populated with approximately 2.28 million people. So that is a lot. It is predominantly a Muslim country. Then some other facts about Western Africa is that Liberia, so one of the countries there, holds the distinction of being the first African nation to gain independence. The Niger River is a crucial waterway for many West African countries. So I'm sure there's many more, but those were the few that I did find online. So I am excited to look into this country. The book that I will be reading is called A Zoo in My Luggage. I'm reading it off my laptop, by the way. So A Zoo in My Luggage is about a man who goes to the British Cameroons and in West Africa, and he takes animals there and brings them to England, starting his own zoo. So I thought that this was interesting. It is a nonfiction biography, and I'm curious about it. It might be a little sad because of animals getting captured and being put in captivity. However, it's not a very long book, and it was one of the few that have caught my eye. So hopefully that will be good. I will listen to this on audio, and I anticipate finishing the book today. So I actually anticipate this whole vlog to be short because of the books that I did select. So that one is on the docket. And for my activity that I will be doing is I'm going to attempt, and I'll do this tomorrow because tomorrow is Sunday, and so I anticipate making meat pies. It says Nigerian meat pies, and I've never had a meat pie before. Kind of like empanadas to me, which I'm not a huge fan of empanadas. I don't really like baked fruit all that much, so pie is usually like not very good to me, sadly. But this has veggies and meat, and I am looking forward to creating this because it does look tasty. So we're going to do that tomorrow. If I can try to do tonight, great, but probably more tomorrow. So that is the plan. I'm going to go ahead and listen to A Zoo in My Luggage. So as I'm doing that, I'm probably going to get ready for the day as far as like cleaning and, just normal getting ready for the day stuff. Later on today, around noontime, we have a women's meeting at my church that my sister has now taken over. And so I'm going to go and, enjoy some time there and also help support my sister with the things that she needs. So after that, I'm trying to think, but I don't think we have anything else later for this day. So I'll just take you along for the ride, and yeah. Okay, I will catch you in the next clip. Book friends, it is Sunday, February the 9th, and I'm about 40% into this book, and so I wanted to come in here and update you about the book and everything. And then later tonight we are going to be making those meat pies. The book, I am listening to this on audio, and it is very dry, I feel. But you follow this man, Durrell, but this is his story, and he is basically this naturalist, I think is the correct term, but this person who really likes to study animals and likes to see them in their natural habitats and everything. And I think he has worked with zoos in the past, where when they capture the animal, he kind of observes them for 6 months, and he writes how he is grown very attached to these animals. And one of the problems he has is after 6 months they have to go to the zoo, and he misses these animals and the relationships he builds with them. So he embarks on this great journey to where he is going to open his own zoo and run it the way that he wants to run it. And so he's on this way to go find exotic animals in the Cameroons. He doesn't have a building yet, and that's why the story is A Zoo in My Luggage, because he is obtaining these animals and housing them. I don't know where, but housing them until he gets a building. It's just his adventures right now, capturing different animals and using the locals there in the Cameroons to help him catch these animals. So I like the imagery that is being portrayed here, and the stories are interesting. There's just how he captures the different animals and everything. This book was written in the 1960s, I believe, so there might be some elements in there that could be problematic. So we'll just continue it. I'm in 40%, like I said, so I should finish it today, and then I will show you our meat pies. So the next time you'll see me, I will tell you my final thoughts on it. Okay, so this is one of the meat pies. That's all the egg white that got cooked. So it is not the prettiest thing. Like I said, not big bakers, even though it's not really baking. But we're gonna cut into it and we're gonna try it, and I'll give you my thoughts about it. Probably, if not tonight, tomorrow. So let's see if we can get this cut open though, so you can see. Okay, husband's going to cut. We're gonna see how nice it looks. Hopefully. Okay, so definitely a lot of meat, but it looks good. Good morning. It is February the 10th, so the next day, which is Monday, and it is a dreary, cold day today. This weekend it was 80 degrees, and so now we're getting rain and it's cold. And yeah, different weather. Still, um, I had finished A Zoo in My Luggage by Gerald Durrell, I believe. So I know I mentioned yesterday a little bit about the book. My thoughts were not very coherent. Honestly, I just had a lot on my mind for a Sunday. But this book, I did enjoy my time with it. I mentioned it was a little dry at first, and I think it was just because I was listening initially at 1 speed and I'm used to like 1.5 speed. So it just seems like slower to me. And I also mentioned how it was a little hard to understand. I think Pidgin is the language. I don't know, and correct me if I'm wrong, but if you know. But as I was listening to this book and getting into it, I did enjoy myself. I enjoyed when Gerald talked about his adventures with these animals that he is capturing. And I think I also got confused too, because I thought he wanted like minimal human interactions, but a lot of the stories that he told, he was very much interacting with these animals and kind of almost like pet like in a way. So I don't know, but he was also like he wanted to develop this relationship so he can like photograph them and study them, and he really wanted his own zoo because he was growing attached to these animals and he felt like he could take care of them in the best way that he could. I know technically like they're not in their natural habitats, but I think he was really going with the intention of trying to make it very educational for others, if that makes sense. And then he was capturing a lot of like exotic things. So I guess there was also like that, oh, I got this exotic animal that probably has never been done before. So I think there was a little bit of that too. But I did enjoy the stories that he had. He didn't handle them in ways where I felt like it was cruel or anything like that. Whether or not if you like zoos or not, I mean, I like going to the zoo, so I think that, you know, he had a good heart in a way. But and then I liked his interactions with the natives, and that's where you kind of hear that different language, that pidgin talk, I think is what it's called. And it was just interesting because the king, I guess, I don't know if he was the president, the king, or I don't really remember the correct terms. I just know that he wrote to this guy, and I think his name was the Fonz. I don't know. He called him Fonz from what it sounded like in the recording, and he seemed like, you know, this ruler of some sort. And so that's who he visits when he goes to the British Cameroons, and they have a good relationship, but you kind of see a little more of that culture. And yeah, I thought those interactions were fun, and I did rate this as a 3.5 stars. This is a first in a series. I'm not sure if I'm going to continue the series, honestly, just because I have so many series that I am going to go through, and it's not like it was long or anything. It's just I'm focusing on those first. Also wanted to mention that this did take place in the British Cameroons, and so I had to look that up because I wanted to make sure that this book was set in West Africa. And the British Cameroons, from what I saw on Google's, did end up getting split into Nigeria or the Cameroons. And so since Nigeria is part of West Africa, I'm just going to take that as this was set in West Africa. So that will just make it easier for me. Okay, so this one was complete. We also made the meat pies, and they did come out a little tough and not that pretty golden brown that I saw online, but nevertheless they were edible and they were really good. It was a little crunchy on like the ends, of it, but like still it was soft in the middle. I could do with more flavor, but that was our fault because I didn't have curry. So my husband experimented with other spices, which he enjoyed doing. So we didn't make it 100% the way that it was online, as far as like with some of the spices, but everything else was the same, which I enjoyed it. So next time, I think that I could see us making this more and more. So the next book is going to have to set place in Malaysia. So that was the second one that we pulled out, and I am going to let you know that the book that I'm looking at is checked out currently, and the check-in date or the return date I saw online was February 21st. So and today's the 10th, so that's like 11 days. I will be on the hunt to look for another book, as well as I might give this a couple of days to just refresh and see if it has been turned in. But I'm also going to be thinking about how I'm going to do this next book. So it's not on Hoopla. I don't really want to order it, honestly, just for the challenge. It's a graphic novel, so I usually don't read those. So what I'm planning on doing is I'm going to give it a couple of days. You won't notice anything because of the editing I'll do, but I'm going to wait a couple of days, and I'm going to see if I A, can find a different book, or B, this is turned in. And I can get my hands on it. We'll see you guys in another clip, hopefully soon. Good morning. Today is February 21st, and honestly, today was supposed to be the day where I was going to upload this video, but unfortunately, as you can see, I will not. So let me tell you a little bit of what's been happening. So as I previously stated in the last clip, mentioned that I was going to wait until I can get my hands on that book from Malaysia, and that book has been rechecked out until March. So I really do want to get this video up, and so what I'm going to decide to do is I am going to put Malaysia back into the jar, because I figured that I'm just going to focus on West Africa and books that I can find there. I did try to find another book from Malaysia, but as of now, there is just nothing that I could find from my library that I was interested in. And I don't know if I'm going to implement my rule yet about dividing up Asia into the different regions. So I'm just going to put this back, and hopefully by the time I get it again, I'm able to read one of the books set in Malaysia, or I can have a better I made up my mind if I was going to divide Asia up into the different regions. So that will go back, and this will just be a vlog about West Africa. So you saw that I already did my little project with the Nigerian meat pies. Anyway, I have found some books that I am going to be reading for this second part of the video, and these are going to be children's books. So I found a total of 3, and they're all ready to go. So I'm just going to read those books. I'll mention them here and put pictures, but I will tell you what I think about them after I've read all 3 of them, and then we can call this video done. So the first book is Nancy and the Lizard, and this is some sort of folklore. Not really sure, but I'm kind of going into these children's books blind because they tend to be really short, and I just don't want to read the plot. I just want to read the whole book and then kind of formulate an opinion. So that's one. The other one is The Water Princess, and the other one is Too Small Tola. And I'm sorry I didn't mention any of the authors' names. I will put pictures here and you can see the authors, and then I'll have the books with me later. So those are the 3 books that I am going to pick up, and hopefully I can get them all done today and then can come up with my thoughts and opinions about it. If not, tomorrow, and then yeah. So I will take you along for the day today. Today is just an pretty much chill day. It's Friday and we just got through our really cold week down here in Texas. It did not snow as much as I'm sure it did in other parts of the United States. If you are in those parts, I'm hoping that you guys are nice and warm. Here it just dipped down into the teens, and that is very unlikely here in Texas. So I didn't like it, obviously. We are now getting up into the 30s today, which is great. I'm very happy about that. And we're slowly kind of rising in temperature. So today we might actually go on for a walk, all bundled up. But yeah, it's been a very like indoorsy week this week, and so I'm just itching to go out, and besides from work, like I'm itching to go out to the library again. So I will be meeting my sister and my nephews at a library later, and so I'll just hang out with them there. And then tonight I think we're gonna go eat out, and that is basically the day. So I will take you along. Back, and I have completed all 3 books. So I'm going to just tell you all of them in this one go. And so let's start with the first book that I picked up, and that is Anansi and the Lizard, a West African Tale. And this is by Pat Cummins, and it is she retells it and I guess illustrated it. So that's it right there. And in this one, you have a story about this spider who basically is in town in this village where the king is going to offer his daughter to whoever can guess her name. And if you guess wrong, your head gets chopped off. So that's kind of like the plot of the story. And you know, you kind of see Spider and his interaction with this lizard, and yeah, it was cute. I'm not gonna tell you the end, but I enjoyed it. I liked the artwork in it. It's just really pretty. I like bold colors, vibrant colors, and there's always something new to see in it. And yeah, I enjoyed it. I would recommend this book for a young child. I have nephews who are at the age of where they like to be read stories. At least one of them. He likes to sit on my lap and I'll like open the book and we read like little short stories. So this is still a little too old for him, but I would recommend this maybe for a first grader even. Maybe second grader. It has a lot of words, so maybe like a second grader. But anyway, recommend it. It was cute. All right, the next book I have is The Water Princess, and this one actually had fewer words, so this is probably more like, I don't know, first grade maybe. So this book talks about a young girl and how she goes with her mother to get water. I think she has to walk like 4 miles to go and get water, and yeah, just kind of like that's the gist of the story, just the journey, how long it takes, and then when they come back home and what they use the water for. They have to boil it, and the next day they have to go and get water again. So this book actually was written by a high fashion model. So Georgie Bedell, I've never heard of her, but she helped inspired this book, and it's based of her childhood, and I think she spent her summers with her grandmother in a village to where they had to go and get water and walk for water. And so at the end it talks about how she's involved in a foundation, and I think it's called the Water Princess like Well Foundation, or maybe Ryan's Well, and they raise money to put in water pumps at schools. And so this one is based in the country Burkina Faso, I think is how you say it. So anyway, this just brings awareness to villages who don't have wells and that people have to go walk and collect water. And so yeah, so that's a good book as well. I did enjoy reading a little bit more about it. And then the last book I read is Too Small Tula, or Tola, and this is by Antonook. So there you go. And this one's more of your chapter book style, so maybe like 3rd, 4th grade. And I might be a little off on my grades a little bit, but yeah. So it's basically 3 short stories about this young girl who lives with her grandma, her older brother, older sister, and it's just little short stories about her and her height. Basically, she gets picked on because she's smaller, but each story kind of ends with her being like small but mighty. And so I like the first story a lot. It's her going to the marketplace. I thought that one was a fun one. Small but Mighty was about collecting water before school because the electricity was out and the water was out. So the second in the story, she has to collect water from the pump with her siblings. That one was okay. I didn't like one of the boy characters in that one, especially where he what seemed to want to attack an older adult in there. So I didn't really like that part. anyway, so it was okay. That story, nothing happened to the lady, but he ended up running away. And the third one talks about a tailor who has Tola help him, like basically help him get measurements from people because he had an accident, and he trusts her to measure his clients, and so she kind of goes around and, you know, takes care of his clients and everything. And so that one was interesting too. You kind of get a little bit of some cultural things. So like you have the topic of Easter, but then you also have like a different religion, and I think it's Islam, because it talks about Ramadan a little bit in the last book. This little girl, she lives in Nigeria, so that's where this book takes place. Anyways, I'm glad that all three books were set in a different country from each other. So that is my blog, and I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that if you have young kids, or if you have any nephews or nieces or grandchildren, and you're looking for more books for them to enjoy, or just kind of get them into different cultures, these I would recommend. And yeah, so if you enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in another video. Bye.